Hi everyone and welcome to this week's devblog. Today there's a lot of information to unpack, the team tell us. However, some of the news is going to be bittersweet. There's certainly a lot of sneak peeks about upcoming features. However, it sounds like the bad news is Murat is proving to be a tougher nut to crack and is encountering longer delays than they expected. So first off, why is Murat taking longer than expected? Well, they anticipated the new crew-served missile platforms would take a lot longer, but as it turned out, it's the opposite. Those, as mentioned last week, are just about ready. However, what is throwing a real wrench into the works are the towed units. They're still working hard as they can to get Murat as soon as possible, but unfortunately the towed units are taking a bit longer than planned. Now, the good news is there are 2 new maps coming. So they've listened to the feedback that everyone's been giving them and they've seen some clear topics. One of them is fewer choke points and clearer lines of sight. In essence, more open battlefields. Another point raised was that when a map contains dense forests and mountainous areas, paths through these environments to allow for faster movement should be considered. And thus they have brought in 2 new maps. They are Black Forest and Iron Water. You can also check out the SD League channel as they've got early access to these and have been showing them off a little bit in the video. So firstly, you have Black Forest. This is somewhat based on Black Forest in Germany. However, I would like to note that if they are fighting in the Black Forest, they've got pretty far through West Germany. So for this one, they specifically stipulate there is a corridor with flat terrain which all the command zones are grouped together. Additionally, there are 2 corridors with mountainous terrain. Good mastery of aviation assets will be needed if you want to control these sectors. A corridor with flat terrain but without the presence of command zones, if used wisely, could be used to get to the enemy's rear and launch a devastating surprise attack. Though honestly, most people should be putting scouts here and will be expecting that, I'm sure. There was some debate when I was discussing this with Protoss that maybe it would be nice if there were a couple of command points at that side as well. The second map is Iron Water. This is a huge map aimed at 4v4s and 10v10s. 81 square kilometers. It's big, flat, open fields with lots and lots of urban combat. So this is going to be a bit of an infantry fest, and once we get those ATGM teams, it's going to be a hell of a map to fight on. Now, I have this screenshot which kindly was sent to me by Protoss from SD League, and this shows where the command zones basically are going to be positioned, and I'm sort of wondering to myself a little bit if their positioning is the best. It doesn't look completely even on both sides of the map where they're positioned, so we'll have to play it a bit to see if that's correct. I kind of feel with this type of map, I almost wish that the command zones were exactly the same size, shape, and position on either side of the map, and therefore, you know, the combat is balanced on both sides. No one's at an advantage that one zone is more defensible than another. I don't know. I think that wouldn't help either. I think it's really difficult to balance these sometimes, but it does look like they're not quite lined up the same on both sides, and as a result, do some teams start closer to theirs, and is there more defense on one? It's difficult to say, but we'll have to play around with it when it's released. But then moving on from the use of infantry on that map, let's see what else we can expect from Murat. So, we're going to be getting towed weapons. Obviously, this is what's taking a little bit of extra time. And I've managed to grab some pictures of most of these. So first, the Soviets and East Germans will be getting the AT-12 Rapira 100mm anti-tank gun, which you can see on the screen now. They'll also be getting the D-30 120mm howitzer. The Soviets will further be getting the D-20 152mm howitzer. The East Germans will be getting the M43 120mm mortar. The Soviets, the 2S12 120mm mortar. The West Germans will be getting the Tampella 120mm mortar. They will also be getting the FH155-1 155mm howitzer. And the US will be getting the M30 4.7-inch mortar. Now, beyond those towed units, we are also getting some missile units that were originally planned for a future milestone, but they will now be coming with Murat. So the Soviets and East Germans will be getting the Faggot anti-tank system. They will also be getting the Konkurs anti-tank system. You'll be familiar with both of these from Wargame if you've played that. The East Germans will also get the SPG-9 fire support team. And the West Germans will be getting the Milan 1 and the Milan 2 anti-tank system. I'm sorry, I could only find one suitable picture for this. The West Germans will also get the M40A1 fire support team, a recoilless rifle, and may I just say, while that looks quite nice, have a look at this beast. This is the Ontus M50A1 equipped with 6 of these bad boys. I have no idea if that's going to be in the game, but please add it. It was in Wargame, so I kind of hope they're going to add it here. And you know, these little tanks and vehicles have been very useful in WARNO so far compared to Wargame. I will of course grant you it probably wasn't in service by 1989. Beyond that, the US and the West Germans will be getting the I-Hawk towed anti-aircraft launcher. The US will be getting the I-TOW anti-tank team and the TOW-2 anti-tank team. I found an older picture of a TOW and a newer picture of a TOW, and I assume we can safely say that these are the TOW-1 and TOW-2, but who knows, I'm sure some military expert can tell me one way or the other. They give us a further little note that there are some missing units or just models, currently placeholders in game, and are in the development pipeline. You can expect to see the T-62 tank family in the future, the MiG-25 Soviet seaplane, the Gaz-66 truck, and the BTR-60 APC, and many more will drop in the near future. Well, that's everything for this week. Let me know what you think of the towed units and the new missile units down below. Is there anything else that you think is missing? Is there anything else you'd like to see? I'm hopeful that next week we might get some kind of balance patch and perhaps these new maps, although these might still be coming with Murat, but who knows, maybe we will get Murat next week. But either way, as always, please do like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel for more WARNO content.